Welcome back to Gil's Arena, presented by Underdog. Whoop, whoop. Whoop. As you can see, we're obviously not at Gil's crib, but on the road out here in Dallas. That is because we have a very special guest making his first appearance on the arena. Stacked his paper as a successful businessman, a philanthropist, accomplished actor, recurring role on Entourage, one of my favorite shows of all time.
Season 7.
Brought you the most international notoriety above everything. So you've seen him getting his investment game on Shark Tank, slanging them prescription drugs for the low with Cost Plus, but you know him best as the former principal and now minority owner of the Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban. Welcome to Gil's Arena, presented by
And one of the first investors in Underdog. They're getting me paid too. Yeah, I love those guys. Yeah.
See, that was going to be my first question. So we wouldn't be here without you. Like you said, one of the early investors, one of the first investors in Underdog. Whoop, whoop. So what made you want to invest in Underdog and indirectly invest in Gil's Arena, presented by Underdog?
Because Jeremy and Peter, the guys that were behind it, I've known Peter for a long time, and we've done some other deals. He was like, "You got to check these guys out." And like I played some fantasy sports, but I wasn't hard into it. And he was like, "These guys, you know, Jeremy's really smart and knows what he's doing." I'm like, "Okay, let's give it a run." And it just, woof. And I was like, "Okay, I'll go for that ride." And it's, I don't even know how many years I've been in there. It's been years now, but. You know, they got, you know, valued at like over $1 billion last time through.
They did.
I was like,
we were aware. You gave them the whoop as well. We appreciate them. Direct deposit always on time. Thank you.
Always on time, right?
Never have to go looking for it.
Yeah, and that's a blessing right there, right? Because you know how that goes.
You already know. So we're going to talk Mavs, hoops, and life shortly. But first, let's talk about a decision you made, which ultimately made you an international celebrity. I talked about it in my intro. Entourage, one of my favorite shows of all time. An array of celebrity cameos on the show. A lot of them are usually brief, but you had a recurring role.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what happened, right? So Doug Allen, the guy who runs it, asked me to come in for a cameo. And I was just going to, you know, show up like a regular cameo. And I had a scene with Turtle and Turtle's girlfriend and somebody else. And one of the people couldn't remember their lines for shit, right? And so Doug goes to me, "Hey, look, we're going to have this storyline where we have this tequila, Avion, and we think we can have some fun with it. It might get a little dark. Would you be interested in letting it run?" I'm like, "Let's go," right? You know, all because this person couldn't remember their lines. They took it in a whole nother direction, and they just kept on bringing me back and bringing me back. It's season 7. I was in like 8 episodes and the movie, and it was all about Avion Tequila. And to this day, people think I own Avion Tequila. And I wish I had invested in it because it blew up too, right? And so, but it was a blast. Like, you know, I got to act, I got to hang out with Jeremy Piven, all those guys, right? But I got to do some acting. Like there was this guy, I forget his name, but he was in this movie right before that with Harrison Ford. And I got so nervous because I had to like do this scene. But the good news is like with Doug, he didn't make you memorize the script verbatim, right? So you could veer off a little bit and just go whatever direction you wanted to and ad lib. And so that made it easy for me. But it was so much fun.
Did you take any classes before?
You know what, I'll tell you this. I went to LA after I sold my first company here in Dallas. I moved to Manhattan Beach in Los Angeles, right? And then up into Hollywood, and I was taking acting classes. Not because I wanted to be an actor, I just wanted to meet women. I was young, and it was just like a great way to meet girls, right? And it was great. I met, you know, and this is so far back in the day. This is when In Living Color was rocking, right? And so like half the cast was in this class. You know, Kim, Wayans, Damon would show up every now and then there was a guy named Twist who was the DJ for In Living Color, right? And so, you know, from there, and there was all these other people who cast in these movies and everything. And I'm just like chilling and having fun, you know. And so I just took the acting lessons for probably a year and a half just to have fun.
So acting lessons to try to get to work. I love it. That's
you know, and then
and
then it led, so, you know, and I love doing the acting thing. You've done cameos, right?
No.
No? Oh, we got to get you out there.
It's just commercials.
Just commercials?
Yeah.
Because you just go in there like, and you're playing yourself, right? So I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I just did a thing with Mark Wahlberg. And it's a movie he's got coming out. And I'm there talking to some dude, and Mark Wahlberg just comes up and goes, pop, and kills me, and I have to pretend I'm getting shot, so I have to pretend all these different ways of getting shot. And the guy goes, "Oh, you just killed Mark Cuban," and they go into this whole thing. It's just so much fun, right?
And you were cool. You saw the script. You were cool with that.
Oh yeah, I was dying to do it, right?
Sure.
So yeah, you can kill me there, but then I did Sharknado 3, right? And I said I did a deal with the Sharknado. You know what Sharknado is?
Yeah.
So I did that deal with him. I'm like, I'll come in and be the president, you know, in this Sharknado thing. but you can't kill me because just in case it goes really well, I want to be able to come back,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And as it turns out, they had offered it to Donald Trump before, and he couldn't do it because of scheduling. The whole world may be different if he had taken that role.
Sharknado 3.
Sharknado 3. But go check it out.
Yeah,
I think it should have won an Oscar, but you know.
Those 3, yeah.
Quality. So we got a lot of basketball to discuss, but
Sure.
before we do, Gil, I know you got something on your mind.
No. So I'm still waiting for my championship ring. See, I knew you didn't realize it.
Because,
See, because I got in trouble in Washington
right,
with the gun stuff.
right.
They traded
Oh, Brendan,
Deshaun,
Stevie.
and yeah,
this
Karan to
this
your
is-
team,
Right, this
which-
is true. They broke it up. That's right.
Which
You were
helped you.
right,
Yes.
right? Oh my God, yeah.
So anytime you want to send it to me, I'll
D.
take it.
Steve, yeah, the whole crew.
That-
D.
that's the
Wood.
one. I'm like, I was in the halfway house, and
And they were in the big
cheering
house.
those
big
guys
house.
on, like, yeah,
from-
get that
oh my
goddamn
God.
LeBron who kept, getting rid of us.
Oh, my-
in,
it
in
was-
DC, yeah, because
it
I was
was-
cheering for you guys.
Yeah, of course, right? Yeah, we started that kind of like Wizards to Mavs pipeline going back to Juwan Howard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we got Josh Howard from you guys. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
our trade, which gave us Jameson back.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
got Devin Harris.
Yep. Then we got the number 5 pick, which was Devin. Yeah, because I had to deal with Antoine because we had him come off the bench when we traded him for him from Golden State,
Yep.
right? And he comes in and it was like, okay, we need you off the bench. He's like, I don't want to be off the bench. I'm like, look, if you don't like it, I promise you I'll trade you and we'll find a spot.
Wow.
Boom,
Give him back. Yeah.
came back. Yeah.
So, I mean, quickly to my next point, but it's just as an owner to have that relationship with players. Obviously, a lot of times you're going to make tough business decisions, but to be able to sit there and tell a guy, look, you don't like it, I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Why was that important to you?
Well, I mean, look, it's never going to be perfect, right? You're going to have relationships that work well and some that don't work as well as you like for any number of reasons. But the more honest you can be with the guy, the better they're going to respond, right? It's when you just start talking shit and bullshitting them that things go south.
Yeah.
Like Karan when he got hurt, talking about, so Karan got hurt the year we won. We were like 29-5, something ridiculous, and Karan goes down. Nastiest injuries I've seen in the NBA. His kneecap just was like up here, and it was in Milwaukee, his hometown. He literally got up and walked off the court. Like, I don't know how the fuck he did it, right? So he's worried that he's done for the year, and we got to replace him. Am I going to trade him? And so I'm like, CB, I'm just going to be honest with you. If the right deal comes along, I got to pull the trigger. But I'm going to keep you updated the whole time. And so the whole season, up until the trade deadline, he's rehabbing, trying to get back. But I was like, here's the deal. We're talking about this and this and this. And we didn't trade him, but he respected it, right? Because we're open and honest. And if you can do that with guys, most of them are going to, respect your back.
That's real talk right there. So the majority stake of the Mavs, late 2023. What's been the hardest part of going from a majority owner to now a minority?
Not making the final personnel decisions, right?
That's what I was going to guess.
Oh yeah, let's trade one of the top 3 players in the NBA, right? I wouldn't have done it, but it's done. And so, and sometimes the basketball gods smile on you and you get Cooper Flagg in the number 1 pick, right? But yeah, that's been the toughest part, just not being the final decision maker when it comes to on-court decisions.
Some of your star players and some of the decisions you made, who's your scouts? Because you were on the European players before it was like fashionable.
Right.
Especially as the star player.
That was the Nelsons, right? Donnie and his dad, they were into that going way, way back. And so they had a pipeline.
My pops over there, Manu Bowl,
Yeah. And so, they had that pipeline going back into the 80s. And so they knew everybody out there. And so, I just knew that, Donnie had a good eye for talent and, having access to all these Europeans. It was us in San Antonio. No one else was even paying attention. And so that gave us a big edge, getting Dirk and everything for Tractor Trailer. Rest in peace, Tractor. But yeah, so that really opened up a lot of doors for us. And honestly, like when that was happening, it was like right around the time I bought the team, fans were crushing them, right? Another big white stiff from some country you can't pronounce, right? But they were smart and it worked out for us.
So as it stands right now, what's your role with the team at this current moment, and what's the energy like?
That's a
when
good question.
you're around?
I mean, right now, I talk to Patrick Dumont, the new majority owner, fairly often, and I'm there just to help them, support them. I'm doing a Mavs event tomorrow, just, if I help with sales, help with, Rick Welts who came in, who's, doing his thing, Ethan Connor, just there to just help and be supportive wherever I can. I mean, I'm still a hardcore fan, right? That doesn't go away. So wherever I can help, whatever anybody has questions for me, I'm going to answer them.
So when you see them, is the handshake or is it the full dap like we got when we pulled up on you?
It's the full, well, it depends on who it is.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
Yeah, I'm friendly with everybody,
Okay.
right? I'm not going to diss somebody just because, whatever didn't work the way I wanted it to. It's like life's too short to
Is it hard for you because you are a basketball fan and that being part of your team and that's you?
Yeah, for sure.
Is it hard now having?
Yeah, and plus I had my way of doing
Yeah.
things, right? So being a fan, being somebody who just spent a lot of hours learning everything, and watching video, looking at the analytics, trying to come up with new analytics approaches to give us an edge. That was my mindset 24/7. And now it doesn't matter. And I'll still do that same stuff, but sometimes it's just me and the wall.
Yeah.
But it's, he bought it the right. Look, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The guy who bought it, Patrick Dumont, he didn't know basketball coming in, but I didn't know basketball other than just playing pickup, and he's learning, right? He's going to get better. He's smart. He's picking things up, really quickly, and he's putting in the time to learn, and that's all you can ask. And he wants to win. He's willing to spend the money, and in this second apron world of the new CBA, that's important.
So you said you played pickup, played
Yeah.
basketball growing up. Who's your NBA comp? If you had to compare your name to somebody.
John Brisker. You don't even know who that is. He was an ABA player. I grew up in Pittsburgh, so he played for one of the ABA teams there. Who would be my, probably D. Steve, right? I'll go something close to him.
Defensive
Like,
player, yeah.
when it would, I'll just fuck with people all the time and talk shit out there.
Okay.
And, if you give me a spot up three, I can make it.
Okay.
But I had a good first step, but yeah, I wasn't athletic enough to get anywhere.
For sure.
That 04, is it 03 or 04 season? At the end of that season, you didn't pick Nash back up.
Right. Because all my doctors were saying that, that season he had played like 29 minutes a game. And the doctors were saying, he's got all these orthopedic issues and this and that. And we made him a good offer. But, and I'll never forget it because down in my office at the arena, I still have the calendar from that very moment where I took the notes when I was talking to Steve. Because, kudos to Steve. He called me back and said, hey, this is what they gave me Mike Bibby money, right? And we had offered him like 13 or whatever, and Mike Bibby money back then was like 16. And I was like, this is what we're sticking at, Steve. We want you to come back, but to make it all work with the cap. Because remember, back then the cap would go down in years.
Yes, it did.
Remember, it wasn't always going straight up like now. Like there were years where it would go up 2, down 4, up 1, and that made it tougher to pay up. And so, obviously that probably was my biggest mistake.
Okay.
Letting Nash walk.
So I was going to ask you, did you regret it?
Was it? It's like,
I mean, we ended up going to the finals, right? But still, it really was.
because I said the one thing that happened because he leaves and then that hand-checking rule was removed or
Right.
it added.
Added, yeah.
Where you couldn't really like hand
Push
check
somebody,
or-
yeah,
so you had
yeah.
to touch, and I was like, well, him going to Suns, adding Amari that dove, you can't touch Steve. I'm like, shit, that actually worked out perfect for him.
For them, yeah. It was a big thing for them, not for
Because he
me.
wouldn't have been a back-to-back MVP.
No,
and
and plus he was
you guys had
motivated.
him,
Yeah, and plus he was motivated. But you're right. I hadn't really thought about it that way. They changed the rules
Yeah.
a lot because the games were like 80 to 75 back then. And I remember being in the Board of Governors meetings and people were like freaked out, right? The game is too boring. It's too slow. It's not open. It's really physical. And we got 80 to 75 games where squads would go 6 minutes without scoring a point. It was ugly.
Because they added the zone, because they're adding the zone in. So they added the zone.
Right. And the 8
then-
second.
Yeah, and then they changed it the summer that he was a free agent,
Yep.
where you couldn't really like
guide somebody.
Guide someone, and then that's
Yeah, because
when-
the whole game, it was like this, and like this. Like you were, all right. Whoever was stronger, you won that matchup.
So you were in governors meetings and they were saying we need more buckets. Right?
Yeah,
the
for
defense
sure.
is cool, but we need to see some buckets.
Okay, so like people like look at the NBA now, they just see the valuations just taking off, right? And think this is the way it's always been. Like when I bought the team in 2000 for $285 million, fast forward 10 years, and we couldn't even sell the New Orleans franchise. The NBA had to take it over. Remember all that shit was Chris Paul and all that, right?
Yep.
Nobody wanted to buy it. My team was worth less 10 years later. And so, it was a different world back then. And so the NBA was like, dress code, remember? People were freaked out about tattoos. Yep, they were freaked about braids. They were freaked out about just hip hop all the time. And I remember having talks with our guys. It was like, why are they doing this? And it was like, there's a bunch of old white dudes that are buying the advertising. They're not down with, the look or the culture that was coming out back then. And, just trying to be honest, it's not right, but it is what it is.
A lot of players was like, well, Steve Nash is still not dressing. Dirk's not dressing. Tim Duncan, like it's like the cleanest
Cleanest
images.
of the clean, right?
It's like, I don't want to be a part of no dress code.
No,
Like, come
no,
on, yes.
no. Oh, and then all of a sudden, now we've gone to 180 degrees, right? Now guys are just wearing anything.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, just things change, right? The world changes. People accept things differently now than they did back then.
So bought the Mavs for $285 in 2000. Sold them in 2023 for a much
285.
higher
That was a
amount.
high number.
Yeah, it was a high number. It was the highest ever
like,
paid
what
for a
do you-
team.
yeah, it's like, what are you
Everybody
doing?
thought I was an idiot, right?
Which
I'm
is
like,
crazy to remember that back in those times because that was
So
an
I'm
absurd
on the
number.
bus like right after I bought the team, and the deal hadn't closed with Yahoo, so I still had a bunch of Yahoo's. Well, it was going to close, but I had a bunch of Yahoo stock, and they're like, "Why did you pay so much?" And I brought up the stock price of Yahoo, and this is when the internet stock was going crazy, right? And it had gone up like $50 or whatever in the day. I said, "See that? That paid for the whole team one day, right?" I didn't stress it, right? And so it was a different era, but it was a lot of fun.
So like I said, bought the team $285 in 2000, sold it 2023 for a much higher amount,
lot, yeah.
obviously. But what led to that drive and motivation? Being the basketball fan you are, loving the game as much as you love it, loving the Mavs as much as you love it. What made you decide right now, this is the time I got to get out?
A lot of things, right? It's not like I was going to start getting younger again, right? And so my kids at the time were 14, 17, and 20, and between Shark Tank and the Mavs, I was always gone. And so I was like, okay, it's time to spend more time. You got to start thinking about your estate and how all that's going to work out. And then just the shit that comes rolling downhill when you're in the business. I mean, you've been through it as much as anybody, right? You can't go out the door without somebody bringing it up, without somebody giving you shit about something. And I'm like, all right, is this what I want my kids to have? Like if something happens to me and they got to take over, like, do I want them just to have to put up with all the shit? And the answer to me was no. I can deal with it. And it's not maybe they can't, but I want them to have their own path, to do their own thing and, not say, okay, you got to do the family business. And so, I pulled the trigger.
So you say you don't want to deal with the shit. So when people come up to you now and they may have a feeling about a particular move that was made by the Mavs, you just like, I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Oh, all the
That
time. Like,
ain't
you have
me.
no idea. Like,
That ain't me, dog.
It's so funny because like I'm in the pharmacy business. I can go to pharmacy events, right, where I'm giving speeches 100% of the time. Can I ask you this one question that's a little bit off, topic? No, I didn't trade Luka. It wasn't me, right? Automatically, that's coming up. No matter where I am, anywhere in the world, they're asking me that question.
What's funny is I did that, remember I did the interview and I was like, we was talking about the future of, I'm a Laker fan. So I was like,
sorry.
and we had great years. And I said, unless someone like Dallas trades Luka, which would be stupid, I don't see how the Lakers is gonna, I don't see who's out there
That's gonna change
that
it,
is a superstar. So I'm thinking about superstars, like, as Lakers, we always get a superstar.
Yeah, of course.
That's just the way so I said the only superstars I see will be Giannis and Luka, but they're not dumb enough to trade us Luka.
And I believe you said it just like that.
I said it just like
they're
that.
not dumb enough to trade us Luka.
That's dumb enough. So I was like, we need international.
I got the call that night, and he said, we're trading Luka. And I thought, no, he's asking me if we should trade Luka.
Yeah.
He's like, no. he's telling me we're
He's
trading Luka.
telling, yeah.
I was like, I was shocked, but
Yeah.
that was then. Here we are,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
AD, Clay,
Yeah, I get it.
you know, D'Lo,
I get it. Yeah.
Kyrie when he gets back,
Cooper
Yeah,
Flagg.
I love Kai. I love
Yeah.
Cooper. I mean, it's
and Coop should be the real deal.
Yeah.
And you never know until you know, but yeah, he should be. He's going to be good.
like the move, like, just watching him play at the point. I'm looking at him at the point in, summer league, and then I'm thinking about everyone who's going to have to guard him in his position, right? For the most part, no one's going to be able to pick him up full court, so you're going to have to stick a little guard on him. So there's only 6, 7 matchups that stops you from doing that. if
Right.
They.
And even then, right, you're going to get a switch somehow
Yeah.
or something, right? Yeah.
So I'm sitting there like, putting him at the point. Oh, that's going to be a big team,
well,
so
that's what I pushed the whole time. The minute we got him, I called Jay Kidd. We've got to run him at the point forward one, whatever you want to call it, right? And just spread it out and get the matchup we need.
You have the Magic Johnson style, like he doesn't have to be like that traditional
No,
trying to
just
figure
get in
out.
it- get into the offense,
Just get it
yeah.
up and down. Like somebody want to put a point on you, put you in the post.
Yeah, just go where the opportunity is. Yeah. And he's still got to improve his 3, but the kid's 18 years old. 18, doesn't turn 19 till December. And he's a worker. It's not like, hey, I'm good at basketball, but that's not my thing.
Yep.
He's like,
Yeah.
I'm good at basketball and I want to be great and I'll put in the time. And
Yeah, that's his advantage.
He rocking New
seen him-
Balance.
I went down to Arizona when Duke played, just to see
him,
what
yeah.
he looked like up close. And the one thing that I noticed, I was like, he plays hard.
and on defense too.
Yes,
on
he just
defense.
plays hard.
Yeah, he wants to defend. He wants to impact the game every way he can.
So let's get into it. So after the finals run in 2024, you lost control over Mavs basketball operations, right? During a recent interview with the DLLS Mavs podcast, you said the NBA removed a clause in your sale agreement that would have allowed you to retain control of basketball hops, while also saying, I don't give a fuck at this point. It's done. I signed the contract.
Yeah, it's done.
So we talked about the Luka trade. You said you were not a fan of the Luka trade, but I want to know, what's your relationship like with Luka right now?
We still DM, and most of the time he'll respond to me, and I'll still give him shit about stuff. And, like even when we went to play the Lakers, I'm sitting and talking to his dad, and I are friends, right? We'll always sit and talk and hang out, talking, give Luka a hard time. So, I wouldn't say we're close, but we still communicate as much as we ever did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you respond to
I love
DMs,
Luka to death, right? I like his team. I mean, I got nothing bad, only great things to say about Luka.
So when he responds to DM, is it words, is it like the janky heart? I hate when people just give me the heart. and don't
No, it's not
acknowledge
just
it.
the heart.
You know?
Luka's not like the just the heart type
Yeah,
guy,
okay, just
right?
making sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that was hard. I mean, it seemed like when we got him, I seen like that was a real shock. Like a lot of people don't get shocked, and I was like, the way he's.
Yeah. Well, you've been there, right? And
I
you've
was
been
like,
around
yeah, that's
guys.
hard.
It's just like Nash, right? That was motivation for Steve to prove. And now look at Luka. He's just going to be tearing it up. Thank God the Lakers are going to struggle, but
So,
Like even when you guys, I was bad on predicting the Luka win, but I really kind of like when we were talking about the draft, and I was like, well, he looks slow, he looks this, I don't know, and I don't know if it was true, but did you have on your staff, it started with an H, Haralabas?
yeah, Bob.
Bob, yeah. Bob, yeah, Haralabas, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, if Bob's there, then I know he understands basketball like
Yeah,
fully.
no,
Oh, so
the analytics guys
He was
were like
analytic.
over the moon. I mean, just like this guy is the real deal. And I remember we played in China our first preseason games then, and I had Sean Marion, Trix was right here, and I forget who else was, I think maybe Steven Jackson. And I'm like, tell me what you think, right? Because I'm dying, right? Because I just traded a pick, got this deal done myself, and I'm like, please God, let him be great.
Yeah.
And he just
Yeah, he
day
was-
one.
that's
I
what-
mean, and talking to the guys in practice, when guys are winning every run as a rookie, and you got a lot of vets on that team, that's a sign. And when the vets are showing, nothing but love to the guy, saying he's the real deal, he's the real deal. Now you just got to go prove it in a game. Yeah,
You can see like the things that he sees. Like I'm always like him, Steve Nash, Magic.
They did. Even LeBron, right?
Yeah.
One step ahead,
Yeah,
right?
their
They know the
vision is
chess
like-
game, and it's not just vision. It's like they see the game happening in their brain, right? It's like that TV show where the numbers all show up and everything. They see the plays happening before they're happening, and so they're putting the ball where it's supposed to be, knowing the guys are going to be there.
Yeah, it intrigues me. Like when I watch him, it's like he knows like I'm gonna drive here, he's gonna reach, so I'm gonna just put it down just a little bit. He has to shift over, he's gonna go down, I'm gonna throw
He's going
it.
to get this screen, this backpick right, and
And
he's ahead of time, 3 moves ahead, right? And he's big enough to see it because there's lots of guys, that have that ability but don't have the size. And I remember when we drafted him, and people were giving us a hard time. Why? We gave up a pick to move up, and I'm like, look at the guys who have the biggest impact on the game right now. Kawhi, how big is Kawhi? Bringing the ball up. Giannis, how big is Giannis? Bringing the ball up. LeBron, how big is LeBron? Bringing the ball up. You need a big point guard who has a big basketball IQ because that just makes everybody better. It's not that a 6'2" or 6'3" point guard can't have an impact, but it's just harder.
Yeah, I learned that when I was in Orlando and we had Turk.
Yeah, Hito was great. It was
he
shocking
can
how
see.
good Hito is.
Yeah, the stuff he can see.
Yeah,
like, how did you
he's
know I was
6'10", right? And and he's got all the shit to him, right? Yeah, it had a little. Yeah.
Yeah, overseas they're doing
So,
it.
two-part question for you. Were you a diehard Luka fan when he was with the Mavs?
Yeah, of course.
Are you still a diehard Luka fan?
Of course not.
You are not a diehard Luka fan anymore.
No,
Come on, Mark. Slovenian Jesus.
Slovenian
Jesus, yeah, he is.
Vala, right? I learned a little. Slovenian is the hardest language to learn. Like I thought I would really kiss Luka's ass by learning some Slovenian.
Yeah.
That shit's hard.
Yeah.
But in any event, like off the court, love Luka to death. On the court, fuck him. I don't want him to get hurt or anything. I'm
You
not
hate
really-
Lakers that much?
Yes. They
Can
even have the
he
same
play
colors
good
as
and the
my high
Lakers not
school.
play well?
They had the same colors as my high school. I threw my high school gear away.
Oh man, thought you was gonna turn you and
There
beat
is
you
no
after being a Laker fan.
chance.
Mark, you can tell us the truth. Are you going to watch Laker games this year just for Luka
No.
and be excited when he scores?
No.
When he does something nice.
No.
No?
I'm going to hope they
You
go
yelling
0-82. I hope they go 0-82.
Are you yelling brick when he comes?
I don't mind.
Yes.
Like I'm a Laker diehard. Like I'm with the Wizards with a Laker tattoo and a
Yeah.
tattoo.
Yeah, I know.
Like I even had when I did my shoes, there was always a Laker colorway.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, there was a Laker colorway. Said I love Lakers. So
my
I'm a diehard. So when we got Luka, my Euro stance changed.
He did flip.
Yeah, I flipped like soon as I heard like Luka.
Bam.
What did I say about Euros? I'm lying. I
Yeah,
got one now.
love him, yeah.
So like
I love Luka to death. He's a great
Yes.
guy.
So my
Great guy.
favorite
We
two
respect
players,
you standing
my
on
favorite two
business.
players
Stay
of
on
all
that
time
side.
was
We got
Penny
it.
Hardaway. It was so Penny, then Kobe, and now it's Luka.
I'm good with that
I got-
because Luka's a good guy, but fuck the Lakers.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
And I love Genie too, right? I mean, there's like, and I get along great with Rob, but on that court,
Yeah.
When you see them now, is it smoke? When you see Jeannie, Rob, the rest of the Lakers crew, is it still what up, or is it just I'm just doing what I'm doing? I'm not.
Rob
worried
just
about
killed me.
Yeah.
Killed me. So when I took my son when the Mavs played the Lakers after the trade, right? And we're sitting there, and Rob comes up to say hi, and he just gives me that no grin, right?
Yeah.
Like he's trying to hold him back. I'm like,
that. Got him. No.
got him. That's right.
So let's go back to a moment when Luka was with the Mavs that went viral. What was your reaction to Michael Finley taking the beer out of Luka's hand?
I was standing right there. I was fine with it, right? And it wasn't because he didn't want him to drink it. It was because there were cameras everywhere, and just not cool when a player's doing an interview with a beer, So Michael wasn't like worried about, oh, you're going to gain weight or any of that shit. Yeah. Like if he didn't do it, I would have done it. It was more about cameras going to be rolling. You're going to need to be talking. Nobody needs to know that you're drinking a beer. How many times have you seen a player do an interview with a beer in his hand?
The Golden State Boys.
Which one?
A Western
State
Conference
Boys.
Finals championship, though. I think that warrants a beer.
No, but
Finals, they're popping bottles, they're doing all
Yeah,
that.
finals is cool,
Okay,
right? Yeah,
but not
finals
Western
is cool.
Conference.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, no, because we had just lost, and you were going to have to do interviews, and so it was I agree with it. I thought Finn did the right thing. I was standing right there. If I thought it was wrong, I'd be like, get him another one.
Hey, what's so funny is I thought Finn wanted it.
Yeah, like, he wants
I'm
to
fucking
step-
thirsty.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I thought it was one of those. I didn't even look at it like that because Clay popped it on. Was it? He was in the middle of an interview, TNT.
Oh, he did? Yeah. But that was after they won.
It was. I mean,
After you win and you're
Herb Mapp.
celebrating.
It's like-
Herb Mapp played
and I was
on
sitting
it.
there like Clay. Like,
Yeah, I mean, how many guys
makes
have you
sense.
seen pull up a beer, right?
Yeah.
That, especially if you're at the podium, they're not letting you put up anything except the sponsor. And nothing comes to mind of just some guy just, okay, here's my bud, let me just go with it, right? Because
like worst case, I was like, oh, maybe they're not sponsored by that one.
no.
Gil
it's
has
just like-
drank beers on our show, so he has a different perspective.
No, I'm
trying
cool
to
with
get-
drinking
I'm
beer.
trying to get the
Trying to get the
Right?
bread.
Come on.
Come on.
I got-
product placement.
Yeah, I mean, look, and like I tried to explain to people before the trade, Luka's Slovenian, right? He's Slavic. Look at Joker, same part of the country. Boban, same part of the country, right? Just a different mental perspective on the game and your personal life. They're gonna have drinks.
Yeah.
That's what they do, and I never had a problem with it. It's like respect the culture, their culture, and who they are. As you get older, you mature, and your time will come.
Yeah.
So in the aftermath of the trade, obviously there was a lot of bitterness, anger from Mavs fan Nico Harrison, subject of much criticism, a lot of hate from fans, Mavs fans and fans around the league. Fire Nico chants, audible at games,
Crazy.
even at medieval times.
I know that was insane.
was
right?
insane.
I feel so
I
bad.
was at a movie premiere for The Accountant 2, and a couple of people saw me and like, doing the whole shit. I'm like, come on, man, I'm trying to watch a movie.
But in your opinion, what's it going to take for the organization to repair the relationship with Mavs fans?
Just winning. Yeah, it just takes time and winning, right? Just like after we lost Nash, I got crushed. Deservedly so, but then we go to the finals 2 years later, and people forgot about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just making the
Yeah,
finals.
I mean,
They'll go
Cooper
to
can
the
make you
finals
forget.
this year, and even if they go to the finals or win it, I mean,
Yeah, people
he's
say,
the
okay,
smartest man in the world.
yeah, for whether you agree or disagree, fans, I mean, there's always going to be a subset of fans that are just critical no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what, right? They're just calling into talk radio still, on Twitter 24/7, just waiting to pounce. There's nothing you can do about those guys, right? But, at the same time, you got to respect the feelings of Mavs fans and understand why they're upset. And I do. I was just as upset. I'm still a fan, right? I'm still all in on the Mavs. And so, Cooper, us getting Cooper, that makes a huge difference. Now we just got to win.
So, Texas is a basketball hotbed right now. You got the Rockets, got KD, made some moves over there. You got the
Yeah.
Spurs, Wemby hopefully coming back. Better, bigger and better.
Hopping out
The
here.
Texas Triangle, man,
Yeah, it's
used to always be beastly. Now it's back, right?
So was there beef even back in the days amongst the three organizations?
Oh, hell yes,
Okay.
right? I mean, we hated each other. The Mavs and the Spurs, are you kidding me? Like, I remember we had a deal down there, and we'd always stay at one of the hotels in the Riverwalk, right? And they'd always, for whatever reason, a lot of times we were there, they would do the dredging, and someone interviewed, what do you think about San Antonio? I'm like, it's okay except for that muddy ass, Riverwalk, and I would just get crushed. Like people were in there. Literally, I would walk into games. This has happened at a couple different arenas, and I loved it. I'd walk it, I'd stand up behind the bench, or I'd walk in, and people start booing me. Just immediately, the whole place is booing me, or Cuban sucks, Cuban sucks. And like, I remember a couple times, Timmy Duncan is on our end getting ready to take free throws. And I'm like, I'm going to test this. I'm going to stand up. And the place starts booing, and he's looking around like, what the hell is going on? And so, but San Antonio just hated us. Like, they hung me in effigy, right? They'd have boats going down the little river there, and there'd be like me with a noose around my neck, and, or they'd be screaming outside the hotel room. Oh, yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, it was
Fandom, I love it.
I got no problem.
I love fandom like that.
Yeah, I had no problem with it, right? It was just an intense rivalry. And then in 2006, we're about to lose in Game 7, and then Manu fouls Dirk, and then Sagana Diop takes over in overtime. It was the craziest thing ever, and we go to the finals.
What a
Jop,
beautiful
was that Jop Diop?
Jop.
Sagana Diop, dun 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 dun.
Yeah. Maybe spelled Diop, but Jop is the pronunciation.
Oh, okay.
Yes, kind of Diop.
Okay, yeah. He was in my draft.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah.
Mark, we're black, so we just
The
see
one
that.
people
We say
don't pay
Diop.
attention to.
Yeah, he was like number 5 to Cleveland.
yeah.
So-
Maybe not number 5, but he was up there.
Mavs have a loaded roster coming this season. Obviously, Kyrie is kind of the big question mark, just depending on what's going on with his ACL situation. Have you heard any updates on Kyrie as it stands right now?
I mean, he's up and about. Saw him at Summer League, and he was feeling good. And he's such a worker, right? You know he's going to do everything. And so, yeah, I mean, he's hopeful to come back earlier, but we'll see.
Yeah, he's
he'll
in
listen
Jersey
to it.
right. He's in Jersey right now, expecting another kid.
We were trying to pull up on him.
Yeah, because I hit him to. I was like, I'm coming down. Are you gonna be there? He was like, well, I'm around the corner. So he was at home. I'm like,
Yeah.
and he was like, then I'm going to Jersey. Like he's when you get to know him, he's a really good person.
Guy, great. I love Kai to death,
yeah.
right? He's like when he was having all his problems at Brooklyn and before that Boston, like we're trying to get another star to pair with Luka. And initially I was like, Kyrie, everybody called him a cancer.
Yeah.
Everywhere he went, they were ready to get rid of him. But every player I talked to loved him.
Yep.
And I would start watching like his old games, and after every game, guys dap up and trade jerseys. People just wouldn't dap. They'd be like hugging him like they were a cousin they hadn't seen in forever, right? They just love the guy, and everyone I talked to, same thing. And I'm like, okay, we're going to go out and pull this trade off because he was, a fallen angel, right? And so we can get him for a good deal. I'm like, we're going to pull the trigger, and we're just going to give him a lot of attention and talk to him, and it paid off. And I still got a great relationship with him, Chatalia. I mean, they're good people. Yeah.
I remember he invited me over here. He's like, hey, yo, I'm having a little thing at my house today, 11/11. We're going to start cooking steaks. I was like, 11 at night? He was like, yeah, 11/11, we're going to cook steaks. We're going to have this nice little vibe, great energy, great people. I was like, Kai, I'm asleep. Like I'm in bed at like 10
Kai's in his
o'clock.
own world sometimes.
So I was like,
11.
you know what, fine.
The conversations are going to be insane,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
He's going to be talking about world peace and all this stuff, right?
He started looking at me. He was like, yeah, I can take you. I see, what?
Oh, my
Like,
God.
yeah, I got the rim right here. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Is that the crib with the grass court?
Yeah, you got the grass. Yes,
It's
the
a grass court.
And
Okay.
I remember, so he's warming up. This is the first time I met him. He's warming up, and I'm watching my daughter work out with Phil. So he's out there playing with a little kid, shaking the hell out of him. I'm like, relax. It's like, nah, you can't. Just in case he grows up and needs to play me one day, I want to let him know who I am.
Right.
So I'm like, I get it. So and then, I get it.
Yeah.
So, and then he was like, old timer. He was like, let's shoot. I think I can beat you. I was like right now? He was like, yeah, right now. I was like, do I get any warm-up shots? He was like, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, lucky for me, I worked out before I got here. So I'm actually when I get to the last spot. So I'm down one, got 3 shots left. He was like, I thought you can shoot out of bounds. And I was like,
Oh, so he's playing you,
yeah.
trying to get you. Oh.
So I end up losing, and I was like, again tomorrow. He was like, nah, no thanks. I got the win. And he's never shot me again. I was like,
believe
he
that.
holds that against you. Like, yeah, I'm a better
It's like when I first bought the team, I was playing 1-on-1 against Dirk, right?
Yeah.
And I hit my first 2 shots, and then I missed, gets the rebound, comes back, dunks me. I quit.
You got it,
I'm
yeah.
done. I'm done.
My brother used to do that to me
Love
in the
that,
video
love
game.
that,
Just
yeah.
turn it off, and
Yep.
that is the score that stands. There's
That's
nothing
the
you can do
score.
about it. But in your opinion, what's the Mavs ceiling with Kyrie and without Kyrie this season?
I mean, the key for us is making 3-point shots, right? Because we lost, Luka obviously could get a shot anywhere, anytime, and was a decent 3-point shooter. And, we lost Quentin Grimes. We got Clay, but it's hard for us to play 5 out right now. Like AD will take a 3, but he's not a great 3-point shooter.
He's not taking a lot.
Right, but I think those numbers will go up. And then you got D Live, who I hope can shoot a lot more threes. And then Gaff, who's just not a 3-point shooter, right? He's not going to shoot them, right? After that, we got PJ, who can make a 3. Coop hopefully will, improve his 3-point shot. And then D'Lo, who can shoot 3s. But we don't have a squad where we're just going to keep on coming after you and taking 3s, because we've got these 3 bigs that are, will make us one of the best defensive teams, right? But there's going to be moments in close games that we got to figure out how to score, because we're not going to automatically be able to spread the court.
Yep. And I guess it's probably too late, but when I was watching the game with, or going into that Boston series, remember I said, it's great for his instincts, but it's going to be bad for the series. And I said, Gafford is going to be played off the floor because he is a rim protector.
Yep.
So when he's coming down on defense, he is going to protect that rim.
Right.
And they're running to the three-point
They're
line.
running to the corner, right? And
And
that's what they did.
He's going to mess up drag.
Well, that's what that's what happens with Minnesota with Rudy, right?
Yep.
You just, whether it was at Utah, Minnesota, the bigs, you got to be able to shoot a three.
Yep.
You've got to be able to, and you got to be able to guard in the perimeter.
And it's the guard for him. And I was
Yep.
like, his natural instinct, he's going to take off
Right to the rim.
help. And I'm like, this
And
is
if you can
play
punish on the other side,
Yep.
right, if you're going to have lobs nonstop, that's great. But even when they were playing Jaylen Brown at the 5, we couldn't make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's JB at the 5.
Yeah,
He was blocking shots. I'm like, what the fuck? This is not our series.
So nowadays, fans are super critical of all the threes that teams are taking. But I just hear you talk about how you guys
No, I
never
think the
shoot
game's
more
beautiful
threes.
right now, right?
Okay.
Everybody can do everything. And it wasn't like that. Like when you were playing, like there was always one dude that the star didn't have to guard, right? This is Gil's guy, right? And it's just go for it, right? It's not like that anymore. Everybody's either going to cut to the rim for a lob if you're either going to be a threat there or you're going to take a three. And so, you're seeing more bigs now that are versatile than you've ever seen before. You're seeing, guys who can take threes, but you're also seeing teams trying to take the three away, right? So you're seeing more mid-range from, KD, right? Kawhi, the guys who are great at mid-range, but now it's back. Shea, you know.
Brunson.
Yeah, Brunson. I mean, the idea even 4 or 5 years ago of pulling up at the elbow and taking a shot, might have been pulled.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. But now if you can hit 60% from mid-range, that's better than shooting threes. And so I don't have a problem with the threes because that opens up the mid-range, that opens up the lob, and you got to be able to make them, And so if you can't make a three, you're not going to be able to take them. So I don't got a problem with all the threes at all.
But it goes with the same theory that I was using when there was always those teams that had that just defensive player on a team. And I was like, yeah, that's the guy I'm
Steve,
guarding.
right? The Dave Steves, yeah.
I'm just going to guard him. I don't have to work, right? And no matter how much he's guarding me,
The Robersons,
I get the rest on offense.
Yep.
I mean, on defense.
Yep.
So, and that's why I said I would never, if you're going to hunt a lion, you need a lion. So to stop Curry, you need someone who's going to shoot just as much to make him run around.
Right, you got to make him run, right? Or you're going to hunt him, right?
Yep.
And make him go through a screen and put him, and which means you got to have somebody that he's going to end up guarding. It's not like, okay, he's guarding the point, if you can't, then he's just going to switch, or they're going to pre-switch, right? And so whoever he switches onto has got to be able to do something.
Yep.
And that's where the game has changed a lot.
We still got some Oscars. I mean, us Lakers, we got Vando, so, I'm like, come on, Vando, like, do something. Like,
Yeah,
you just
but-
can't be just in a corner as atmosphere.
Well, just like Jaden McDaniel, right, at Minnesota, went from not being able to shoot a lick to knocking down a three. So, but Vando always hits like 5 out of 7 threes against us, man.
Oh, he does? Yeah.
He kills us.
It gets to work. But let's talk a little bit just more about you. So when you bought the Mavs in 2000, teams hadn't been to the playoffs since
Long
1990. Years of mediocrity, right? Turn things around right
Mediocrity
away.
would have been good. That would have been a step up.
I was, doing the research like, ooh, I forgot how nasty
That
this
was
was.
ugly.
I just saw Rolando Blackman too the other
Yeah.
day over at Venice Beach.
Well,
Randomly, just made me think about him.
Confidence, baby,
But
confidence.
he was great. But you were able to turn things around right away, right? Your first full season, snapped that playoff drought. In that first 12-season period, you made the playoffs every time, finals
Yep.
twice.
50 wins a year, yeah.
But you were very front-facing as an owner, which wasn't particularly common at
No.
that point. Very vocal as well,
Yeah.
obviously very visible. Sidelines, locker room, media, social media, April Fool's pranks with fake refs. Just kind of always just kind of
Yeah,
out
just
there
trying to have fun.
doing your thing. But how do you think the league and the other owners felt about you doing
They
your
hated
time?
my ass,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
David Stern was the guy who protected me, right? Because David was like, no, this is good, right? There's somebody who's young and has ideas. But I remember being yelled at by it wasn't Abe Poland, the old Wizards owner. It was the guy who owned the Pistons. And I was in my first year, and I was talking shit about something, and the guy stands up and goes, "Shut the fuck up. Until you've done something in this league, sit down and shut the fuck up. And David Stern was like, chill. But yeah, those guys, and the league would find me over and over again. I remember like my first full year, I was in Minnesota, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get, the towel guys, the equipment guys that just sit there on the floor. I'm gonna sit down and just chat with them the whole game. I just want to see their viewpoint. I thought that would be cool. I got fined $150,000 for conduct unbecoming an owner. Right? They did everything they could to stop me from being me until Stern just basically said, whatever. Right? Yeah. Just don't talk bad shit about the refs. Then I really got to fine you. Okay. So, yeah, but that didn't stop me either.
I think close to what, like $2 million?
No, more than that. It was a lot more than that. Yeah.
Worth it?
Oh yeah, I mean, because I knew when I was going to say something that would get me fined, I knew it was going to get me fined.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
So we've been talking a lot about the Cowboys documentary on Netflix, America's Team.
I love it.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah? Oh.
My son, like my 16-year-old, all about the Cowboys, right? Yeah, and he's telling me about it. And he's like, today, Dad, I took him to school, right? He's just starting his sophomore year, and he's a hooper. He's taller than me now, which pisses me off to no end because he can beat me. And so, but we're talking, he's like, they have this thing with Dak Prescott, right? They can't sign him. Like, Dad, why don't you give him like an NIL sponsorship? Give him $5 million a year, and that way he'll stay with the Cowboys. You'll be a hero. I'm like, I'd rather have the $5 million a year.
Gil's been dealing with Micah Parsons, trying to figure out what's going on with that whole situation with Jerry.
Before watching this doc, all makes sense. All makes
Watching
sense.
Jerry and all.
Yeah, it's.
Jerry likes to wait till the last minute all the time.
He reminds me of how you started, right? His whole football entry was attention. I want everyone to talk about this team.
Yeah.
And this team.
No, he was all about marketing. Like I've talked to Jerry 1,000 times, right? Marketing. He is a salesperson, one of the best salespeople, marketers, all about the Cowboys. I want to make it America's team, and he did. To his credit.
Yeah. You moved to Dallas with the 80s. Were you around during that 3 Super Bowl run?
Oh, yeah.
Or were you out of Manhattan Beach getting the acting on and getting
yeah. Like,
are you back and forth? Were you chasing the work?
The Cowboys played the Bills and just destroyed them. It was in Pasadena, right? Yep. And so we had a connection, and me and 8 friends got 7 tickets. And so we bum rushed them. We literally gave them 7 tickets and said, thank you, and just ran through the gate. We got to get into the game. And I had this crazy suit on that was like just an overcoat jacket that I bought at Melrose that looked like something Elton John would wear. And I had bottles of champagne in the pockets, and I had silly string. And so just me and my friends were just crazy back then. And so every time the Cowboys would score, which was a lot, we're shooting silly string, and we didn't all have seats because we had more guys than seats. It was insane. So yeah, I was a Cowboys fan.
So I want to know, like, what was your relationship like with Jerry Jones? You guys run into each other often out
there?
I
wouldn't say
flexing
often.
on each other? Like,
no, nothing like that. Like we'd call each other and talk about different things, whether it was business or coaches. He would give me advice. Because I respect him a lot. Yeah. A lot. I remember when I got interviewed by the Board of Governors, the guy before Dolan that was with the Knicks, he goes to me, try thinking this was an insult. He goes, are you going to be like that football owner in Dallas when you own the team? And this is right at 2000, so it's only a few years since the Super Bowl. I'm like, win a couple Super Bowls? Championships? Yeah, I hope so. And he was like, all mad. But yeah, Jerry and I have always, because we don't want somebody like that. But yeah, Jerry's always been really good to me. I like Jerry a lot.
Yeah, just watching, I said, if you don't know anything about Jerry or like the history of the Cowboys, you actually love him. Yeah. Because you realize like he's all about the people around him, and it's all about Cowboy Nation. It's
all he cares about.
Like friends and family, like if you are part of the group.
Yeah, his daughter, and Stephen and Jerry Jr. I know okay, but not well. But Charlotte I know pretty well. And she's amazing. She's super smart, and she does a lot of stuff there. I got nothing but respect.
I was like, man, I want to be a Cowboys fan, but I'm a Rams fan.
Hey,
I'm a Rams fan, I'll be a Jerry fan.
Your coach, right? Oh my God, what's?
Sean McVay.
Tim. Not Tim.
Sean McVay.
Yeah, Sean McVay. His mom went to school with me. was hot as shit, right? I had the biggest crush on her, but she was dating Tim McVay, the football player at Indiana, so I had no shot, right? I was just this kid from Pittsburgh, like no game, no nothing. And I just remember, oh my God, Cindy, I won't give her her last name, but she was, and so we got to be friends because I dated a friend of her, amazing. And then all of a sudden, her son wins the Super Bowl and everything. So that's my little connection.
You have a lot of connections to the
That just
various
means I'm
levels
old.
of work.
That just
Yeah,
means
but
I'm
I'm
old,
just
yeah.
very 6 degrees of separation with the
Right.
work. But recently, CBS Sports released a top 25 players of the 21st century list. They had Dirk ranked 10th on that list. But I don't know, other than Dirk, I mean, you had a front row seat to see all the guys who were on that top 25 list. In your opinion, who is the best NBA player in the 21st century?
In the 2000s.
All the way to
So 2001
all the way to this
to the 20.
Okay, so there's
25?
Agent Zero.
The whole century.
And then,
Yeah, I wish.
I'd have to go with Kobe, Shaq, McGrady, Duncan, Dirk, Garnett, and then you can put any of 15 different guys, right?
I noticed you didn't say LeBron. I'm a LeBron guy. Just wanna
Yeah, I
make
know LeBron definitely should fit in there
Okay, just
too.
wanna
Yeah, I
make
got no
sure.
problem with that.
We
yeah.
have a clutch thing
No,
we're working on.
I'm a
trying to
LeBron
progress.
fan, right? I'm a LeBron fan, and even like the MJ versus LeBron, they're two completely different players,
Yep.
right? You can't even really compare them. If you have a good team and you need a killer, you go MJ. If you have a team that's good and you want them to be better, right? And as a team get to the finals, you go LeBron. Yeah, MJ is not going to lift up a bad team. LeBron can.
Yeah. And people don't gauge stuff.
Yeah, like who would I rather have the last shot? MJ.
MJ.
Who's going to help your team get better? LeBron.
I'll take that, Mark. I appreciate that. So we got a couple more questions for you, even though you got to get out of here. But what do you see as the biggest opportunities and challenges for the NBA over the next decade?
I think the whole media space is really funky, right? That social media is more of a connection to fans. Like, particularly with the NBA, kids today are more fans of the players than they are the teams. Like when we grew up, you're a Lakers fan, right? I'm a Steelers fan. I'm a Pirates fan. All Pittsburgh teams, right? Now it's just like you see Steph, and Steph comes to town, and there's a ton of kids with Steph jerseys on. That wasn't going to happen 10 years ago, pre-social media. So I think, trying to monetize and recognize that, social media is going to change and impact how we market our players, market our teams, and market our product. I think the fact that private equity is buying into so many teams, I think is a problem because, for the first 20 years that I was an owner, I and other owners too would be pushing that fan experience, make it affordable. Now it's all about valuations, and so everybody just, if you're a private equity and you have investors in these things called special purpose vehicles, all you want to do is the value of the team to go up. And if you're trying to just jack up ticket prices, jack up costs, jack up merchandise sales, that's not necessarily best for fans. And so I think fans are getting priced out. So I think that's an issue. I think, the ultimate business question for the NBA is how will our games impact streaming subscriptions for our new streaming partners? Because one of the reasons these numbers went up so high is Peacock streaming, I think it was them, they did a deal with the NFL, like one special deal for like a playoff game, and got like a zillion new subscribers.
I was one of them.
Right, and everybody is betting that's what's going to happen. If there's a lot of churn or we don't get those subscriptions for those partners, it's going to be tough for them right? And so I think that's a big issue. But in terms of the players themselves, the NBA is in good hands. In terms of the quality of the game, the NBA is in good shape. In terms of taking it to Europe, like, I think for the whole time I was there, I was like, why are we giving our best players to the Olympics so that Comcast can make a shit ton of money and the Olympic Committee can make, because the NBA players were for the Summer Olympics, the NBA players were the draw, right? Why are we giving it free? Why don't we create our own World Cup and do like soccer did, right? For the Olympics, 23 and under, great. But let's play Slovenia against, all the different all the different countries, and own it, it would be enormous. Yep. It would be the biggest basketball event ever. And David Stern and then Adam were like, that's not our deal with FIBA, and we can't do it. And I think, now they're trying to put teams in Europe to find a new way to raise revenues and margins and everything. And I think it'll do okay, but they're missing the big opportunity.
So I got one last question for you. You just mentioned Slovenia, obviously home of Slovenian Jesus. As it stands now, Dirk, only player with the statue outside the Mavs arena, right? Luke was in Dallas for 6.5 seasons. Rookie of the Year, 5-time All-Star, 5-time first-team All-NBA selection in that time frame. Would have been more. He did not leave by his own free will. Obviously got shipped off. In your opinion, do you think that Luka deserves the statue somewhere down the road?
Sure, absolutely. But it's not my decision.
Mark, we appreciate you taking the time.
Guys, that was a lot of fun, guys. That was a lot of fun.
This has been another episode of Gil's Arena presented by Underdog. Whoa, whoa! We'll be back with more very soon.
That was fun, guys. Man, I wish I didn't have to
He's gonna
take
get one outside.